Welcome everyone to today's webinar series. My name is Suzanne Carowin. I'm the Vice President of Marketing and Communications here at the National Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors, otherwise known as NAIFA. And today we have a special guest speaker, Simon Reilly, industry legend, author, speaker extraordinaire, and also proud NAIFA member. He's going to talk to us today about a very pertinent topic, especially that's come up during kind of the COVID era with so many multi-generational issues going on and people wondering how they can get the best protection and how they can look at estate planning and the whole bit. And so Simon's going to talk to us today about ways that you can interact and talk to the clients, or the children rather, of your high net worth clients. So Simon, without further ado, the floor is yours. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Suzanne. So welcome everybody, and thank you. We're going to cover the 7 keys to create relationships with with the adult children of your high net worth clients. Now, how did this presentation come about? I'm talking with Advocates, which is a Canadian Association of Financial Advisors, and NAIFA chapter presidents, program chairs right across North America. I'm always asking, what are the 3 biggest improvements advisors need to make? And what are the 3 biggest challenges that they're facing right now? And they resoundingly agree. You've got the $70 trillion wealth transfer, and advisors are not taking the steps required to develop stronger relationships with their higher net worth clients and their adult children. And so that's what led me into doing some deep research into this presentation. I'm going to be providing you a step-by-step process here that includes the marketing that takes you straight through the needs analysis that is going to open up the door for conversations with the adult children of your higher net worth clients. And I'm just segueing into thinking about a client of mine in Halifax, and I talked with them about what was one of their number 1 goals for 2022. And they said, I want 5 new high net worth clients. I said to them, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you? 10 being high, 1 being low. Where are you with the relationships that you have in place with the adult children of your higher net worth clients? 10 being high, 1 being low. And the answer, I'm about a 2. I said, why not, instead of going out there and prospecting for brand new clients, why don't you learn a step-by-step process that is going to help you develop the relationships with the adult children of your higher net worth clients? Because chances are the adult children are going to be higher net worth clients also, because they've had mentorship along the way from their parents. They've already got decent assets, great opportunity, and then you're going to wind up also being able to retain the wealth transfer. So I got into this, and these results are staggering. 66% of adult children fire their parents' financial advisor after they inherit their parents' wealth. 88% of those who chose not to work with their parents' advisor never even considered doing so. And 75% of investors say their adult children have never met their clients. And so again, we're going to go through a step-by-step process to be able to help sort this out. Note this last thing, tomorrow's too late, as 66% of affluent investors met their first financial advisor before 45 and 1/3 before they were 35. So it's all about the questions. We're going to go through a step-by-step process that's going to help you help your clients get associated to the value of including their adult children in the conversation. And note this survey, 85% of practices formally ask for 85% of practices don't ask for feedback, 15% ask for feedback. The ones that ask for feedback, that are asking the questions, they've got a 73% impact on their profit potential. And I want to ask you, are you asking the right questions? And if not, why not? Now, this presentation is built on the 1-page business plan. It is a NAIFA member benefit. I've been a senior certified 1-page business plan consultant for about 10 years. And we're going to get into strategies within the one-page business plan. These are the strategies that we're going to cover. How to become nationally known for consulting to intergenerational households, create an intergenerational value proposition to be used for meetings, speaking, brochures, direct mail, postcard, email campaigns, and website. We're going to talk about how to research and create intergenerational client content so that you've got the direct mail pieces, the email pieces, you've got potentially postcards for campaigns. And then we're going to go through the 7 steps to help your clients understand the value of intergenerational risk management and investment planning that lead to adult children introductions. I'll say this again, that lead to adult children introductions. Now, as I said, I'm a one-page business plan consultant. Again, this is built on the one-page business plan platform. And right up front, I'm letting you know that there's a free offer here, and it includes an exclusive link and password for you to be able to create your own one-page business plan. There's the opportunity to be able to have an interview call with Laura. Laura's going to spend 45 minutes with you and ask you a series of questions that don't often get asked. She's going to send you the questions and your answers back by email. She's going to send you a link to your plan. And then you and I will be in a position where we can debrief your plan in a forthcoming call. And right here, you can see my email as far as being able to take advantage of that situation. Or there's a link there that you can directly schedule it straight into the appointment scheduling with Laura. And I'm just going to take the liberty and drop that into the chat box right now so you've got it and we can get that out of the way. And let's get moving. We got a lot of ground to cover. And there you go. You've got the information. Let's keep moving. I'm not going to cover all of the one-page business plan today, but I want to give you the big picture. So it covers 5 components: vision, mission, objectives, strategies, and actions. Mission, what are we building? Mission, pardon me, vision, what are we building? Mission, why does this business exist? Objectives, what are the results that we're going to measure in 1 year? Strategies, how are we going to build this business? How are we going to attract conversations with the higher net worth children of our higher net worth clients? I trust that made sense. And action plans, what's the work to be done? And I'm just doing a quick overview so you get the big picture. Vision statements, what are you building? The one-page business plan has a built-in series of questions that'll help you develop your vision in a matter of minutes. And with all this that's going on in the world today, I mean, remember back in 2019, remember? And I'm kind of playing with you a little bit here. Remember? Well, honestly, you didn't remember. And then 2020 hit, and then we had COVID. Now look at 2022. We got post-COVID, we got war, we got potential recession, interest rates, inflation. It seems like every day the list just gets longer and longer. And you know the proverb, without vision, people perish. You've got to have your own vision to be able to pull yourself forward today. It's absolutely essential. There's an example of a vision statement that is also interconnected with intergenerational wealth management. Within the next 5 years, grow ABC Company into a $2 million annual gross revenue business, financial advisor business with 200 million assets under management, providing holistic wealth planning to 200 aspiring wealth-minded intergenerational households. That company, which is a client of mine in Toronto, knows exactly where they're going. Next, mission. Now, there's all kinds of talk out there about unique value proposition and elevator speeches and taglines. It all comes from the mission. If you write your mission statement, you answer these questions, you get very, very clear. Your mission will be clear along with all of the marketing that goes along with it. Here's an example of one of my clients. Our mission is to help aspiring, wealth-minded intergenerational households build wealth. They know exactly where they're going. They know exactly what they're focused on. Next, we're going to look at objectives here. So objectives are, what are we going to measure in 1 year? And they're often written based on where are we now and where are we going. Now, I just put in a quick objectives here for the purposes of this presentation. Add 5 new intergenerational high net worth clients. And actually it should be written is increase, so it'd be increase intergenerational high net worth clients from 5 in 2021 to 10 in 2022. That's the best way that that should be written. So you can see increase assets under management from 130 million in 2021 to 135 million by the end of 2022. So it's always written from the standpoint of this is where we were, this is where we're going in relationship to assets under management, insurance commission. We've got discovery processes here, needs analysis. We've got marketing strategies. We won't go into the objectives in detail because where do we want to go? We want to go into strategies. Here's where we're going to take a deep dive. I'm going to give you the process, the scripts, the entire step-by-step process. So first of all, we want to become nationally known for consulting with wealth-minded intergenerational households to obtain, transfer, and sustain the asset. How are we going to do it? We've got to be able to develop an intergenerational value proposition that can be used for meetings. It can be used for your speaking, brochures, direct mail letter, postcard, email campaigns, and website. And believe me, I wrote my first blog in 2004. And the biggest challenge when you start getting into content marketing is that you've got to be able to have an inventory. And where does it come from? Well, your unique value proposition. Where does that come from? Now, we're not going to go through all these slides because there's 25 questions that we provide a service to our clients. We ask them these questions to help them develop a unique value proposition, but you can ask these questions yourself. You will be able to receive a copy of this PowerPoint presentation. You've already got my email address there. If you want a copy of the presentation, just send me the email. Now, you've got these questions. What's the result? Well, here's the result of Daryl Bowman's story. We asked him those 25 questions. We copyrighted Daryl Bowman's story about how he got into business. And interestingly enough, it shares that, in a sense, they have an intergenerational business that is working with intergenerational clients. The story goes back to 1960 when Daryl's father started the business, and Daryl's father wanted a business where the advisors were all under one umbrella, so to speak. He didn't want to be working with a bunch of independents, so to speak. And so he wanted to build a business with associate advisors, with a strong office team that would support the clients. Daryl's brother joined the business. The business was growing. Unfortunately, Daryl's brother died in an aeronautical aircraft accident in their hometown. And Daryl, who was a minister at the time, joined the business. And Daryl has been in it decades, making a significant difference, carrying on his father's legacy, and working with intergenerational households. To make a long story short, Jacob, Daryl's son-in-law, is joining the business. And so this story can be used as the beginning, a lead for a campaign to start planting the seeds of how important it is for their clients to be able to bring all their family members into the conversation. And so it can also be used as a speaking presentation. Daryl asked me, I'm going to be speaking at the Chamber of Commerce. What am I going to talk about? I said, tell them your story. Frankly, they're interested in hearing your story, why you do what you do. And you can see, Daryl, you can see the key to success when working with Simon is the openness and willingness to ask yourself hard questions. Now, next thing we're looking at is a personalized campaign. So Daryl's story would go out to his higher net worth clients, and then a series of articles would go out 7 to 10 days apart. This would be well in advance of their next review meeting. So that these articles, these content-rich articles that we are producing for Daryl, are going to be planting seeds in the client's minds about how important it would be to include their adult children in the conversation. And so there's all kinds of different topics here. Should you spend your kids' inheritance? How to give your adult children financial hope in a credit card-driven society? How to have tough conversations with your kids about their inheritance? And so these articles, in a sense, are doing the heavy lifting well in advance of the review meeting. There's a couple of samples of the actual articles right there. These can be interconnected with postcards as well. And the interesting thing, I hear, well, nobody answers it, or nobody opens email anymore. And yeah, nobody answers or even looks at mail anymore. But the chances are you may very well have a postcard that would potentially get a second, 1 or 2 seconds glance, so to speak. Look at this one. While you've been healthy and wise, we've been working together to create your legacy and wealth. Look at the next one. Scheduling a meeting with you and your adult children will help to continue your legacy and wealth. And in your review meeting, naturally, you would have your articles, you would have the postcards that would be a trigger to be able to get into that conversation. We've also got some articles here that are for the adult children as well. How to ask your parents about their finances and why it's important you should. Look at this one. Should you stay with your parents' financial advisor? How to ensure your parents don't blow your inheritance? How to figure out what to do with your inheritance so you don't blow it? So it's all about education. Now, you've got the marketing tools in place. It's debatable. Should you have done your discovery? Should you have done your segmentation in advance of this or after? Doesn't matter right now. You already know how to segment clients. I'm just bringing it up. So number one, you love them. There's no sense in working with a client that you don't get on with. Number two, you want to identify what business, career, job, or profession they're in. 3, what's their network as far as associations, business, clubs, church, and family? And of course, what are their assets? Your discovery process, you already know that, know this. You want obviously a person's name, their email address, their email and their birthday. That's the name, their name, their spouse, and the firstborn. And you want to find out what the favorite things are. These favorite things are going to be extremely helpful when you get into a more sophisticated gift-giving program. And it will also help you to understand what kind of events that they're going to be most interested in participating. So here we are now. We're into the 7 steps to help your clients understand the value of intergenerational risk management. And this is a script. And so it starts off with you asking your clients, how long have we been working together? Of course, you know the answer. We're bringing them back to when you started doing your work together, and you're asking them what was their financial situation back then on a scale of 10 to 1, 10 being high, 1 being low in relationship to auto, credit card, mortgage, and most of all, stress. Where were they when they first started working with you, and how did that make them feel when they were carrying that much debt and that much stress? Ask them what their hopes and dreams were. Ask them at the time, were their hopes and dreams achievable, and how did that make them feel? The next thing you're going to talk with them about, where were they in respect to their assets and protecting assets, the retirement plan, funding family education, and so on. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being low and 10 being high, where were they back then? And how did that make them feel? And now you're bringing them to today. Where are they now in relationship to reduction of auto, credit card, mortgage, and stress? And how does that make them feel? And where are they now with respect to increased assets, protecting assets, the retirement plan, and so on? Where are they now compared to where they were? Key word here, or key question, how does that make them feel? And now we get into the legacy questions. Do you think about your adult children's financial future? And what do you think of it? And how do you feel they will do? Do you consider your adult children to be financially literate? Do you think your adult children have a disciplined approach to saving money? And how does that make you feel? Are your adult children prepared to inherit and manage financial wealth? Do you worry about that your children will lose the family wealth after an inheritance? And how does that make you feel? You can segue in with some research. I understand that second generational wealth, 75% lose the family inheritance. And by the third generation, 90% lose the inheritance. And so this is important to be able to bring this information forward so that your clients are taking the necessary steps to be able to help them build legacy. Imagine how nice it would be if your children didn't have to go through the same financial worries and uncertainties that you endured when you were younger. I would like to help your children with sound financial decisions beyond any sort of inheritance, how they think about money. The same worries and fears you experience can be avoided for generations with your blessing. I'm asking them for their commitment, and I'd like to offer my help with some. Now, this is debatable. Whether or not you want to say free or not in this world, which is shifting from free to fee, that's your business. So I'd like to offer my help with some services to help your children. Does that make sense to you? I'm asking for commitment. I'm asking for blessings. I'm noting also that this script, I believe, needs to be edited so that it is also including the grandchildren in the conversation. And why am I saying that? Is because your client may not have the greatest of a relationship with the adult children, but they are certainly invested in making sure that the grandchildren are taken care of. So your next step is you're going to contact the children via email to the parents, and you're going to ask to forward it to the children. And a summary of the email, and I'm going to go through the whole thing with you in a second, thanking the parents for being loyal, share how rewarding it's been to work with them, recap the conversation about what was their financial situation, where are they now, and about their legacy. You're reminding them you've got services and that you're confirming that you want to reach out to the children individually in the coming days via emails. And here's what the email looks like that you're going to send to the parents, with the idea that it would also be copy forwarded to the adult children. So dear Dick and Jane, okay, thank you for being loyal clients to meeting and exceeding your goals over the decades. And so there's something here that I'm enforcing here: loyalty and meeting and exceeding the goals and decades. And why am I even pausing on this one particular sentence is because I understand that millennials are more do-it-yourself, and they don't necessarily see the value in a financial advisor, working with a financial advisor. They don't necessarily see the scope of it. And what this letter is doing is it's reminding the parents, it's also reminding the adult children of all of the services that are available. So it's gratifying for me to assist you and your family in creating a solid financial foundation for success in all areas of your family's lives. When we started working together 30 years ago, you had several concerns and you had the following outcomes: paying down debt, creating a stable retirement, and having a biannual vacation. We not only created a plan, but collaboratively, there's a key word, collaboratively, refined your plan to include goal setting, debt control, cash flow management, reducing taxes, a diversified portfolio, income creation, and asset protection. We're reminding them of what we've safely navigated. Black Friday in 1987. Some of their adult children may not have even been born on Black Friday. The tech crash in 2000, the Great Recession in 2008, and a brief recession, COVID, in 2020. As we go forward, this one is key. As we go forward with our future work together, it's essential that you and your family members thoroughly understand the following 4 areas of planning and the returns that one can expect. Now, this could very well be expanded upon, but there's different expectations of different ages and at different stages in the financial plan: accumulation, preservation, distribution, and transfer. And the reason why I'm putting this in the letter is potentially the adult children of your higher net worth clients may be working with an advisor that's not taking all of these 4 areas into consideration. They're only taking into consideration the accumulation. And they may not be looking at the big picture overall, and they may not necessarily be, you could say, fostering the brilliance that you're bringing to the table in relationship to these 4 areas of planning. And so that education has got to get embedded into this email. So these 4 areas of planning and returns one can expect must be explained so that all family members are on the same page regarding planning and returns. Different ages have different planning and returns on investment expectations depending upon the investor's age and the age of their advisor. May I suggest that you forward this email to your adult children and copy me to introduce the work we're doing together to create and preserve your legacy. My next step is to contact your adult children to introduce myself and the free services available to them. Again, that is up to you if you want to wind up removing the free part. Thank you for the opportunity to be of service. And then you email each of the children directly. And instead of giving a bio, introduce yourself and focusing on how you can help them and mention a few things you know about them. Keep it light. Don't get too heavy. List the services that you provide. And it could be a simple risk tolerance test. And in the meeting, pardon me, I'm ahead of myself, and ask them how they want to be contacted. If there's no reply, try again in a week. And if there's still no reply, put them on your campaign, your email campaign, your mailing list. And this is where these titles come in really handy so that you could be sending them something potentially every 2 to 3 weeks, just to stay top of mind with attention-grabbing titles that may very well engage them. There is a step-by-step process here in relationships to how to conduct the meeting. Say they replied to your email, you schedule it. If you have a junior associate, bring one along. You develop rapport and go into discovery questions. Listen and take notes. Don't hand them a needs analysis form to fill out. Right at that particular time, you're only getting to know them. You're there to inform, educate, and invite them based upon their interests. It is a slow process. It's an educational process. It's not necessarily going to be a sales appointment. The point is we want them to remember you. And then again, let your parents know that the meeting has happened. Again, you can see those campaign articles. The balance of this presentation includes how to be able to implement an educational and theme event plan, key steps and strategies for successful family meetings, your client gifting program, how to write a job description and hire a client relationship manager. And the last one I've got here is upgrade technology to include blank, blank, and blank. Now, the reason I've left that blank is because technology is always changing. And this is a process that I am continuing to develop. And so some of these slides are complete, some of them are not. So create and implement an educational and theme event plan. So this is a step-by-step process. And in fact, if you go to my website, you can actually get the entire article on how to develop this, whether it's live or it's virtual. Step-by-step process. You can see I don't have the successful family meeting agenda PowerPoint slide, but you know what? If you go to my website and you just go leadingadvisor.com, blog, successful family meeting agenda, you'll find it. Create a client gift giving program. Now that circles all the way back to your needs analysis that you did in the discovery process. So this will give you some ideas in relationship to be able to send unique gifts and when. And with all of these pieces in play, depending upon the size of your practice, you may need to write a job description and hire a client relationship manager. Again, if you go to the website, the blog is there that includes the entire description. And it kind of helps because on our end, I have Belaine. She is our client relationship manager. And so this is an ambitious plan. It requires support. It requires team members to be able to implement. But I'm giving you the big picture, step-by-step approach. This you can take the PowerPoints, you've got my email, you can do the step-by-step approach yourself. What I'm sharing with you is what we are doing for our clients. So I've got the support within our organization, the very same things that we're doing for Leading Advisor, we're doing for our team members as well. I'm going to spend a little bit of time on action plans. And I want to point out, so this is the fifth component of the one-page business plan. First one is vision. Second is mission. Next one is objectives. What are we going to measure? Strategies. How are we going to build this business going forward? And thank you for being here. I'm going to talk with you about virtual marketing at the end of this presentation. I'm going to give you some more strategies, but action plans are important. Now, this action plan statement, this slide, was built in the beginning of January when I did 3 presentations for advocates. One was in Edmonton, the other one was in Toronto, the other one was in Halifax. And notice what it says here: complete your 2022 vision, business plan, and goals, complete with a budget cash flow by April 1st, 2022. Why April? Well, it's because I'm speaking, back then it was January 9th and 13th, and I was asking the audience, how many of you have got a written vision and business plan written straight out of the gate, January 1, 2022? And I said, if you don't have one done now, leave it till April, because the advisor's in their busiest time of year. And so you might be wondering about that. But even before the plan, give thanks. Give thanks. What I recommended that they all do is go back to their calendar for 2021 and make a list of every accomplishment that they have made, and notice how it makes them feel. Because we're so busy today going forward, we're not appreciating the present. And I think what that process will do was it'll help you to realize the extraordinary difference that you're making for your clients. There's another point here. Empty your mind. Forgive the mind, for it knows not what it wants, but it is always wanting, and it is consumed with wanting. We have way too much information on our mind today. Back in 2019, I did a survey. I Googled how much information is created every single day. According to Google, 5 quintillion bytes of information is created every single day. This was pre-COVID. And that, what was it? 90% of the information in the world has been created in the last 2 years. It's absolutely staggering. And we are trying to manage all of it with our mind. We got to empty it. We got to download, get it off our mind, so we're going to be in a position that we can then prioritize it. And then we can decide the 4 Ds: either do it, delegate it, dump it, or defer it. And then that'll set the stage for you to be able to put your time management and delegation plan in place. The other reason I'd recommend that you empty your mind, because you can highlight what you love, and it'll help you to identify what needs to be delegated. So I thought I'd just spend a little bit of time here on what action plan statements should look like. Let's keep going. So why are these results happening with these low numbers that are being reported with respect to relationships being built with the adult children of higher net worth clients? And so I want to talk with you about asking the right questions. And this ties into John Wheeler's presentation in respect to interrogatory questions and consultative questions. So interrogatory questions are about the what and the how. So what's working, what's not working, and it's all about logic. And it's also about needs, and it generates fear. And needs trigger negative emotions and negative beliefs, and it's often product related. And this is a tough love set of slides here. I think it'll make sense to you as we get into this deeper. So interrogatory questions. These are in the needs analysis. Do you believe your assumptions for growth are correct? Do you have any plans in place to protect your increasing higher net worth from either the IRS at death or medical facilities if nursing home care is required? Yes, these are strong questions. They drive into the core. They are definitely going to disturb a client to be able to want to take action. But my concern is they could be heavily product related. They could be tied into needs that drive fear, negative emotions, and negative beliefs. It's all tied up in logic. And the danger of this is we don't have the big picture, and it may create separation with the adult children of your higher net worth clients because you didn't drive deep enough into the consultative questions, which equals why. Why? The emotional reasons, not the logic. The client's values, what they love versus fear. They trigger positive emotions and positive beliefs, and they're more plan related than they are product related. And here's our friend John Wheeler, and it's all about the why. What do you care about? Who do you love? What do you love? What's important to you? What are you concerned about? And how do you want to be remembered? And so these questions make it about the client's reasons as far as what do they want to do in the future. With respect, not the salesperson, not the advisor. What I'm pointing to are questions that a consultative advisor would ask versus a salesperson advisor. And the reason that I'm pointing this out is that if these why questions, in a sense, haven't been asked earlier on, then these might create a roadblock with respect to the advisor asking the kinds of questions that I'm pointing to in relationship to the discovery process that would segue into the relationship with their adult children. So it's very, very important to be operating with these consultative questions earlier on. I'm talking about a set of consultative questions in relationship to developing relationship with higher net worth clients. Frankly, these questions that John's developed should be asked earlier than even what I'm talking about. So the earlier, the better. But then, well, why don't we? Well, it gets into our own needs. And what we've got to do today is we've got to have a strong vision. We got to know what our values going forward. And they talk about epidemics. The biggest epidemic that I believe that's going on is most advisors, most people do not know what their values are. Values pull you forward. They're connected with your vision, your plan, your passion, your enthusiasm. So I'm bringing up this offer as a reminder. There's an interview call you can have with Laura. You're going to have the opportunity to be able to have a copy of the one-page business plan, but I'm also going to give you an assessment to be able to debrief your values, and then I'll debrief that for you. Why do we want to look at this? I'm going to share some case studies with you. And so, fictitious name, obviously, we've got Jane Capital, 25 years in business, practice specialty, life and DI, current income, $250,000. 2 licensed assistants. What do they want to do? They want to increase confidence. They want to increase income 20% per year. They want another designation. They want to convert from working with families to business owners. There's something going on there where they're not attracting higher net worth families. They want to work smarter and not harder. They want to be happier. Here's the roadblocks. No written 5-year vision and business plan. Self-described control freak, doesn't trust their team, monitors every step. That means they don't delegate very well. They're hanging on to everything for dear life. They have a fear of losing team members if they're too demanding and pushy. So not only they're not delegating, they've got fear of losing the team member because they're too demanding and pushy. They get caught up in servicing clients. They haven't segmented. They're unwilling to bring on advisor for fear that the advisor is going to steal their clients. And deep down inside, they're very insecure. Now, I guess you can give yourself take a little bit of a breath here, because what I'm sharing with you here is only going on in Canada. So you're okay here. What is going on here that's causing those challenges? On the left-hand side, I'm showing you a benchmark that I've looked at for the last 25 years of the value scores of the most successful of advisors that I've seen in the business. So from left to right, first one is theoretical, knowledge, information. It would stand to reason that somebody in financial services would want to have a decent score with respect to life insurance, CI, DI, wealth management. Next one, utilitarian, capitalism, return on investment. What's the ROI for the client? What's the ROI for the advisor, their company that they represent? Next one is more on a personal basis, aesthetics, appreciation of art, architecture, fashion, nature, design. The next one is social, people. The next one is individualistic, personal power, inner strength, self-esteem. And the last one is traditional, how one follows the rules. Notice these horizontal lines represent the national mean. Now, these top 3 value scores are essential: utilitarian, theoretical, and individualistic. Why individualistic? First of all, we got to have the personal power to be able to sit down and ask the questions to be able to help the client get clear on what it is they want. Next, we've got to be able to have the theoretical value to be able to do the research, to be able to find, locate, deliver what the client is wanting. We want a high ROI so that we are delivering a high utilitarian. So to be able to deliver an ROI for the client and yourself, you're in business. And then the high individualistic to be able to come back, present to the client, and ask them for a decision tied into the needs analysis. I mean, simply put, you're asking what are the 3 biggest improvements they want to make? What are the 3 biggest roadblocks they're experiencing? You're certainly asking them more questions than that, but along the way, you're going to be asking, do I strike you as somebody that you could work with to help you to meet and exceed your financial goals? After you present, do you think that there's enough value here for us to form a working relationship to be able to meet and exceed your goals? That individualistic is essential. If it's not there, the advisor is going to be doing a lot of work without asking for the opportunity to move forward. So let's take a look at what's going on with Jane. Well, and one pointer I want to share with you, my benchmark score is at 0 to 75. The new assessments that are coming out are at 0 to 100. The scores are still proportional in a sense. So the benchmark with the utilitarian, it's about 60. Where do we want to see it today? 75 or 80. So notice right away what's going on. Jane's utilitarian score is lower. Notice what's also going on. The benchmark of the individualistic, we want the score at 50. We want to see it at about 75 today. It's lower. What's going on? Notice here is, in a sense, a misunderstanding. There's nothing wrong. There's an absence of understanding, but what we've got going on here is the social value is too high. The old benchmark is at 29, we want to see it at about, say, 35 today. It's up here at 70. And what's going on there? It's not a value. It's a need of approval and recognition. And what's happening here, there's a certain part of Jane's mind that's overly concerned about what her clients are thinking and making her develop a misperception, so to speak, that she can't delegate for fear of the team making a mistake. So hence, she has to do most of the work herself. Hence, then she doesn't have time. And we're going for a third designation. And with all due respect to compliance and designations, this theoretical is way too high. The truth is Jane already knows an extraordinary amount of what it is that she's delivering to her clients. And this is keeping Jane stuck from growth. We're talking about how to develop relationships, how to develop strong relationships with the adult children, with higher net worth clients. There's no space here because as a misunderstanding of values. Look at the keys: self-described, control free. Got to do every blessed thing known to human client. No time for a vision, no time for a plan. Doing everything, fear of losing team members, too busy. Don't want to hurt the team members' feelings. Gets caught up in over-servicing clients. Thank goodness this is only going on in Canada. Let's take a look at Walter Wealth, another example. 20 years in the business, group benefits, 560,000 in income, 17 members, some licensed, some not, wants to grow, wants to build a financial advisor side of the business because they got all these group benefit clients, but they could be doing way more on the financial advisor side and the insurance. They want to grow the team and they want to have a systematic marketing plan. What's going on? They want to improve delegation. Interestingly enough, they don't like conflict. They need to be firmer with decisions. They don't, interesting enough, they're concerned about offending employees. They don't want to overwhelm the team. They're not realistic with themselves with how long things take. And they're trying to squeeze in one more thing because they're not looking after the team. What's going on here? Once again, the individualistic, the inner strength, the personal power is too low. In this case, the utilitarian is too high. And it ties into, I said it was a utilitarian value, it ties into the need of safety. They don't believe they are enough. They don't believe they have enough. They don't believe they're doing enough. And so instead of being a human being, they're a human doing. And notice this traditional value, which is no longer a value. The benchmark scores at about 32 on the old benchmark. We wanted about 37. It's up here at 60. They're micromanaging every blessed thing in the company, and it's slowing down. I'm just checking in with my time. One more example, Steve Service, 32 years in the business, property and casualty and life insurance, revenue $1 million, 9 members on the team, wants to grow 15% a year, again, wants to develop the financial side of the business. Let's get to the roadblocks. It's unbelievable. No written vision or plan, self-diagnosed ADD. I don't know how many times I hear this. I have ADD. Have you been diagnosed? No, I just believe I do. And honestly, it's because of misunderstanding of their operating system. They don't have ADD. They don't understand what their values are, and hence they're, in a sense, being pulled in way too many directions. As Steve said, I'm going down the rabbit hole. Look at the benchmark. What's going on here? The social value is way too high. They've got the personal power, the inner strength. But when it comes time that they're going to master focusing on financial planning and life insurance, and then guess what happens? They get a ding from their email, or the phone rings, or they can feel the air pressure change in their office, and they know the front door of their office is open. So immediately they're looking up because they're looking for instant gratification, and they do not know how to strengthen and gratify themselves from the inside out. And there's nothing wrong. There's a misunderstanding. I'm showing you some testimonials of people that I work with that have done the kind of core work that I'm talking with. When I first met Carl was going through a broker-dealer change, moving his office. His wife was joining the business. He said, my wife, she said, you really need to do this to gain some perspective. And I want to celebrate with Carl because Carl, I understand, is the #1 asset gatherer for Lincoln Investment in the United States in 2022. When he played fair on this side of the business, was in a succession plan, but was not leading the succession plan. And in fact, the person that they were involved with as far as taking over their business wasn't getting the leadership that Wendy required from the inside out. I'm fortunate enough to work with Adam Solano. Look what he said. I feel like I've had a change at my cellular level. And that is what is required. You need to know what your values are to be able to pull yourself forward. I'm just pointing some processes and systems that we're working with our clients. Yes, we work on inspiration, vision, business and marketing planning, information and time management, team building, succession planning, marketing planning, and helping you develop the content so that you've got an uninterruptible process for your seamless marketing plan to plant the seeds in your clients' minds in relationship to what it is that you want to be able to provide as far as your value proposition. And we're helping our clients with marketing processes that include charitable giving, fee for service, financial planning and life insurance, group benefits. You've seen this one on how to create relationships with adult children. We're also helping them with their speaking presentation to be able to understand the sequence of their speaking presentation so that at the end of the presentation that the prospects that they're speaking to are going to reach out and want to do business with them. And here's someone you might recognize, Dave Beatty. And a lot of these marketing processes that I've listed here, I've worked with Dave on. And as you can see, his comment in relationship to what's happened with his business. Greg Johnson. You know what? There's one thing about being in a succession plan. There's an entirely different situation when you're dealing in a succession plan where both your mother and father were active in the business. And I just want to acknowledge Greg for the great job that he's doing. So there's your offer again. There's a reminder. We got a little bit of time here to be able to talk about virtual financial advisor marketing. And I've been doing this for 20 years. Here I am, I'm in Parksville, British Columbia right now, in a town of about 12,000 people that's on the east coast of Vancouver Island. Directly east of me is Vancouver, which is an hour drive and another hour sitting in a lineup, and then a 2-hour ferry ride. And then I get to Vancouver, and then I can take a plane flight. Yes, there's flights off of Vancouver Island, but again, an hour to the airport. In Canada, we've got to be at the airport 90 minutes before, interestingly enough, so for a 12-minute plane flight. So I don't know, what should I do? Should I take the plane or should I take the ferry? And so I speak, yes, but most of the time I'm here on Vancouver Island. And so this step-by-step process, I believe, will help you to market your virtual financial advisor marketing. I was doing this before virtual, but it's transparent. So you know this. Number one, segment your clients by business, career, or profession. ID your niche markets and concentrate on those niche markets. In the beginning, you might pick 3, and you want to reach out to your best clients in those niche markets, and you want to ask them, what do they like best about working with you? And what have they received that you didn't expect? And let them know that you're looking to be able to produce some thought-leading content, and you're looking for their help, and ask them in their business, their profession, in their clubs, in their associations, what are the biggest improvements that they want to make? What are the biggest roadblocks that they're facing? Get out there and do some research on or offline. When I started doing this, I used to go to the magazine stand on a Saturday morning. This was pre-internet, and start looking for thought-leading information that I could share with my clients. And so cut and paste, mash it up with full accreditation. That'll help you to start writing your own articles and deliver the articles 3 to 4 times, 7 to 10 days apart. And if you're like me, I went to Nelson Deslop and I said, Nelson, have you been enjoying these articles that I've been sending you from time to time? And Nelson said, yes. And I said, Nelson, who else do you know that would appreciate these articles? And Nelson said, contact Frank, contact Diane, contact Thomas, contact John. He gave me about 8 referrals. And did I call them right away? No. I delivered the articles to the prospects, same thing, 3 to 5 times, 3 to 4 times, 7 to 10 days apart. And today, you can deliver the articles, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. And then after a period of time has gone by, call or email. And in my case, it was ring, ring. Hi, Diane. I work with Nelson. He thought you might appreciate the articles that I've been sending you from time to time. I'm wondering if you'd be open to having a conversation with me about how to strengthen your business. What do you think the chances were of me getting the appointment? 100%. What do you think the chances of them becoming a client were? 100%. And then today, I use the same process I use today, because I go out and I find out who the chapter presidents are, the program chairs, the executive directors, provide them with thought-leading content from time to time, and then I ask them for the opportunity to have a conversation. And I'm always asking them, we go back to these questions. What are the biggest improvements that your audience wants to make? And what are the biggest roadblocks that they're facing? And what they provide me with is current challenges that require thought-leading research to be able to deliver insights that are going to be able to make a difference. And so there we are. We're pretty well right on time. And I want to thank you very much. Appreciate NAIFA. Feel honored to be able to speak with you this afternoon. And Suzanne, thank you.
Thank you, Simon. I want to thank you on behalf of Advisor Today. We hope to see you on a future podcast or another webinar. Thank you, everybody, for attending today. We look forward to continuing to have a great relationship. And if you're not a member of NAIFA, please consider joining, and certainly subscribe to our online Advisor Today blog, and you'll join more than 56,000 people who also get that on a weekly basis. So Simon, again, thank you, everyone. Take care. Be well.
Thank you very much.